Before we get started, a big thank you to all of my supporters over on Patreon and on Twitch, with the Patreon people coming up on screen now. A big thank you to my legendary supporters, Mike, Kira, and Obi-Wan Kanzi. Thank you guys. I really very much appreciate it. If you would like to help support me and the channel, then you can head over to twitch.tv/mandatoryquest and drop a sub over there. Or you can go over to patreon.com/mandatoryquest and become a Patreon member for some early access to some videos and some behind the scenes stuff. Okay, so today we're taking on scenario 65, a strong foundation. So this is the first outing of this brand new party with the Hive and the Pyroclast. This scenario is from the personal quest of, I think it was the Pyroclast, yes. So we immediately unlocked this from the personal quest that we drew for this character. In general, we've learned from our mistakes, which was earlier on when we had a scenario, we had a retirement, like this. It usually added a lot of time to the calendar. They've done a pretty good job of pacing these retirements out to be about 15 scenarios on average. So it's better to kind of get this unlocked to get it in the calendar so that we're not maybe waiting later on down the line, 3-4 weeks or whatever it might be, to be able to keep playing with it. So you can pretty much reliably think that this is going to be 15 weeks. So I don't know what it's going to add to the calendar, but it's a good idea to just get it done now and we can see what happens when we do it. So that is why we are doing this, but also it kind of works out quite nicely that we're doing a new kind of branch of scenarios with these characters. First things first, we need to draw a road event, a summer road event with these characters. Whoa. So we have Summer Road Event 22. It's been a while since we've had to resolve a road event, huh? Da 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 da. Okay, here we go.
An unnatural chill passes across the road in front of you, causing you to pull up your coat. You hurry along as the sun sets, but as shadows creep across the trail, your attackers show themselves. Ice wraiths. They close in, faceless and hungry for the sustenance they can only get from those still living. One of them appears more corporeal than the rest. Faded armor and elongated spikes of ice jutting from its body, suggesting it has a rank above the others. 2 ahead of you and 2 behind. Sounds like a fair fight. Option A, take out the leader first. Option B, focus on the minions first.
Okay, poll is up. Option A is to take out the leader first. Option B is to focus on the minions first. Well, I don't feel like either of these two things will necessarily have a great result for us. Probably going to have some kind of downside going into this next scenario, but there you go. So place your votes. What are my merc traits? That's a good question. So Hive is armored, educated, resourceful. And Pyroclast is arcane, chaotic, and intimidating. So at least we've got 6 unique ones this time, which is pretty cool. So that gives us a bit more depth with the events for sure. Oh, 50-50. To be fair, usually if you take out the leader, then the rest of them will kind of scatter. So I'm going to say option A. Take out the leader first. I think that is probably the best one, I think. So we're gonna go option A. Plus, I guess like if we're intimidating on the pyroclast, maybe that will work. Okay, maybe not. Oh God. Okay, we lost. GG.
You rush toward the biggest, scariest wraith in the hopes the others will scatter with their leader cut down. As soon as you've committed to your attack, the largest one transforms, receding into its armor and absorbing your blows. You turn in horror to see the other three have grown into terrifying billows of ice and armor to compensate. By the time the fight is done, you're bruised and ready for a hot bath.
Not great. All characters start the scenario with wound and discard 2 cards. You voted for attack minions first because you've played a while. Yeah, I feel like the gamer take is to take out the trash mobs first, right? That's usually the gamer take, but to be fair to this, it's more to do with the fact that because Ice Wraiths, you know, they changed from being normal to elite all the time, it didn't really matter what we took out, I suppose. So the other option would have been discard 1 card. So it's significantly worse. Neither side is good, but it is significantly worse. I will also say that is potentially one of the worst road event, like, kind of outcomes I think I've ever seen. That is brutal. Like, there's not many ways for certain characters to come back from that. Like, what do you do if you're a character like the Trapper in this situation? Like, oh, okay, I got 9 cards, so I'm going down to 7 cards in my first, and I need to play like at least 2 rounds of making traps. So that's like you're basically in a rest before you even start. Like, that is really harsh. I mean, it is what it is, but and maybe there's only one of these, like, this is the harshest it gets, but that is brutally hard. That's kind of like, do we even bother playing this scenario kind of hard with certain characters, especially if you were going into a scenario that was also hard. And I think that this scenario is not going to be like a walk in the park, so, you know, it's, yeah, really, really difficult. Discard 2 is bad enough. Yeah, why add the wound on there? What you're basically saying is that you're forcing a long rest. Or, you know, you're forcing people to discard 2 cards, potentially have to keep a heal card, which you might not want to keep. And then also, if you don't keep that heal card, you're forcing a long rest much earlier in a room than normal. So, it's, yeah. You would have expected the small ones to run away when the big guy's dead. Yeah, that's like how I kind of surmised it. Like in a video game, killing the minions is usually the better way of doing it. But I guess to be fair, in Frosthaven and in Gloomhaven, it's often the right call to go for the minions first and not for the leader. Like thematically though, I thought that, oh yeah, maybe we kill them and then, you know, we have like a trait or something. I guess the kind of thing with this is that there's no traits at all on this. And there hasn't been that many events with traits, I will say. I don't know if maybe we've got unlucky so far with events, but I mean, it is what it is. We have to take what we take, but it's very brutal. No immunity on the hive? Not yet, no. I decided to not go with it until we actually kind of need it. Yeah, we decided to go for the double perk one here instead. And then the triple perk here. Yeah, so It happens. Don't only spend 40 on my 60 gold pyro. No, I bought 2 items. I bought wild growth seeds as well. Because I figured that this was... Arguably, this will be better in certain scenarios. But then this one I feel will probably be better maybe in this one. I don't know. I figured like we'll use attractive bracelet to start and we'll see how we go. But as soon as we get to level 3, we get 2 small items. Then we basically have 2 incredibly strong small items for this character. And then we can just craft, you know, the rest of the slots that we want. Okay, so we're going to start with wound. And I'm going to have to get rid of a couple of cards. Imagine if there was a negative scenario condition on top of that as well. Here, chat. It would basically be good game, well played, really. There's no point even kind of playing the scenario. We're attempting it. Okay, scenario 65, a strong foundation.
Responding to an alarm bell, you peer over the main gate of Frosthaven to see a group of unfamiliar figures approaching through the night's freshly deposited snow. As you watch them, it dawns upon you that this group leaves no trace of their movements, no footprints in the snow.
Oh, sand people.
Esthers. You signal the gate open and descend to meet them.
Greetings.
8 shimmering forms all move their mouths in unison, but a single voice appears in your mind.
We have come to ask your assistance.
You wonder why this group of Esthers act and speak as one, and they explain as soon as the thought reaches your mind.
When the betrayer brought about our dissolution, we were not strong enough to bring our forms back on our own. But through the strong bonds of our former life, we found each other in the vast emptiness and decided to meld, to become as one. Only by doing so did we bring ourselves back. We are not strong. Not in the sense that others of our kind are. But if you help us, we will provide knowledge in return.
You decide to help, and the figures immediately lighten their expressions.
You have our thanks. We have located an old elemental array that will assist in keeping our forms anchored to this plane. We cannot recover it on our own, as lesser spirits and malevolent creatures infest the area.
Voice of 8 leads you to the snowfields north of Frosthaven, where an unnatural fog rolls in, giving you the feeling that the air itself has been frozen. You continue forward, the Esthers quiet and always a few steps ahead. Before long, ruins appear on the edge of your limited vision, some sort of protective structure. The cackling sound of impish creatures can be heard long before your eyes find them through the frozen fog. They throw small stones at the heads of large undead creatures, failing to get their attention. Your appearance, however, draws the attention of both.
Whoa. All right. Hey, dwarf. Scenario 65 is actually a really fun and good scenario. Cool. Wow, I'm looking forward to it. Although not really, not massively keen on what happened to us on the road, but it is what it is. We will try our best. Special rules. All monsters add push 1 to all of their attacks. If the scenario level is 4 or higher, increase this to push 2. Okay, a bit scary with the icy terrain, of course. Scenario goals. The scenario is complete when all enemies in it are dead. At the end of that round, read 168.3. When door 1 is opened, read 142.2. So kill all enemies, nice and simple, but we've got to make our way through. So first up, we have battle goals. Then what we'll do is we'll decide what cards we're going to discard for this scenario. So 3 cards for our hive. This would be awesome if we could get a really fast start on perks. Okay, layabout, gain 7 or fewer experience. That feels kind of tough on this character, right? I mean, we're probably going to end up getting 4 very quickly. Because we're going to play 2. I mean, we're going to basically play 2 summons in the first round. Which is going to be 4 XP. So we're going to be on 4 XP before we even do anything, right? That feels particularly rough. Plus we have ways of playing them again. That to me seems pretty difficult on this character. Like, this character feels like they're going to get XP. Hey, buddy. Dynamo, kill an enemy with an attack that would have caused at least 4 or more points of damage than necessary. What are we against? We're against imps. They have pretty low health, right? Yeah. But 4 or more is... Is there a chance for us to do 4 or more? Well, I guess we're going to be drawing a bunch of cards out of our attack modifier deck. There's a fairly decent chance that we actually draw, you know, something pretty good. Plus we can make our summons attack for like 4. Well, 3, I guess. Max out 3, right? Yeah, 3. And then maybe they draw a +2 or a ×2. And then Sadist is kill 5 or more enemies. Now that also seems pretty reasonable. Let's go Sadist, and we'll just try and be the ones to get the killing blow. Like, the thing with Dynamo is that we could just draw poorly and we never stand a chance. At least with Sadist, we can just kind of, you know, go about our business and hopefully get it done. So we'll go Sadist on the Hive. Ooh, here's some double ticks. Oh, just 1 double tick. Exterminator, kill 1 or more monster of each monster type. Oh, that competes a bit with Sadist. But maybe not. So in this room, we have 3 of the 4. There are also apparently ice wraiths. So I don't know how many ice wraiths there will be. It does compete with Sadist, though. Collect fewer loot tokens than any other character is one that's probably pretty possible. Recluse, never end your turn adjacent to any other character. Gain 1 additional checkpoint for... Nah. Yeah. I guess I have to ask myself, what's a realistic amount of enemies per room? 4? For a 2-player game? Probably. We've got 2 more rooms after this. We got this room, and then we got another kind of slightly smaller, but still like a square room. But still, you know, still pretty big. So 4, 8, 12. We would need to kill 5. That would leave maybe 6 or 7 enemies left. I guess we could try it. It's probably better to try and get 2 ticks on Pyro. It's probably better to try and get 2 ticks on Pyro than it is to necessarily get 1 tick on Hive. I need lots of money for the Hive donations. Oh yeah, that too. I need to be looting, right? It's going to be a 5 arrest cycle, pretty much. Okay, challenge for this scenario. Fight fair. Whenever any character kills an enemy, that character gains all negative conditions the enemy had when it died. We got a bit of poison, right? And we got a fair amount of wound. Bit of muddle, maybe? I don't know. I feel like we can probably play with that. Like, if we get wound, we get wound. It's funny that if we did actually have that immunity to wound perk, on the hive, it would have paid off already. It would have dodged the wound from the road event and now potentially given us a challenge attempt. So, yeah, starting to feel pretty bad about not taking that perk straight away. Because literally the only negative condition we have is wound. I think we take it. I think it's pretty doable. Do you unlock challenges via campaign, or is it meant to use whenever you want? It's through a building. It's through, I mean, I won't say what building if you don't want the spoiler, but if you do want the spoiler, then ask. We'll tell you what building it is. Okay, let's get rid of 2 cards then. So I have to think about what mode I want to play on my hive first and foremost. I think that's important to just think of it. You know, I could get Reconstructive Aid, which will just give me a heal 2, which is quite nice. Then I was going to potentially like launch pod my Leaper into play, I think. Because it's going to do a pretty good job of dealing with these imps, I think. Because they don't have much health. Yeah, they don't have much health. They apply Brittle, but he's got Shield 1 too. So I feel like the Leaper's going to be quite good in this scenario. It's going to avoid all the annoying terrain, unless he gets pushed into it, of course. But that may happen. So, like, this is what I kind of feel like my first turn is. This is my first play. And then following that up, I probably want to go early after that. And I'll probably just attack a bunch of stuff. Yeah, so I think maybe I get rid of... I mean, the Jackal Mech would also be a pretty good launch pod target. Because it pretty much kills, right? With anything... Yeah, I don't have to draw plus damage. Actually, maybe I launch the Jackal Mech. Although this is when the wound problem starts, right? But I do have potentially this. And then, so maybe I have this as my opener to give myself jump to begin with. And then we launch the Jackal Mech. That seems okay. So then the cards that I'll get rid of is... Probably get rid of Reaper function, because I don't feel like this is like... I'm not going to have many opportunities to attack a bunch of stuff. And then maybe the sniper turret. Yeah. Okay. I feel like that's maybe fair, because I probably don't want to play those. I want some transfers, I want some other stuff. And then in terms of what we get rid of on the Pyroclast, we obviously want all of our nice kind of create hazardous terrain stuff. This should be a really nice scenario and fun scenario for this character for sure. Maybe I go pretty early on the... Yeah, maybe I'll go pretty early here on Pyroclast. That's pretty fun interaction. I could play like Cloud of Ash, which would be kind of funny. Yeah, okay. I think this will be the first play. Probably won't play Eruption then. Probably will play this. Probably will play this. Possibly will play this. I don't know. It's kind of tough to decide, right? Like, cooling seems like the natural thing to get rid of, but it's got a heal on it, which I'm going to need. Melted armor just seems so good. We'll get rid of Quenched Rage. We'll just play it that way. Okay. Right, I think we're ready. Sorry, you've actually played before? Nice. All my cards are good is the thing? Yeah, I mean, like, that is ultimately, I think, one of the best things about Frosthaven. Also, one of the most agonizing things at times is that there are no, like, obvious choices at times, right? Okay, so before we get going then, we need to do this thing. Oop, don't smash my camera. Smashed it a little bit there. There you go. Okay. Okay, so we need to do the hive action. So we will play the Leaper as our kind of active mode. So that gets us 2 XP. And this happens before we even get started or do anything. Okay. Now we need to pick cards. So I know I want to go pretty late. Tough. Yeah, I think I go on 90. I'm not sure if I want to be the tank here, but What kind of movement do the living bones have? 3? I guess they can get to me kind of regardless here. So we'll go kind of late on the hive, with the plan here being we're gonna launch pod Jackal Mech into the action to see how we do. Yeah, we basically start the scenario always with 2 XP. It's pretty good, huh? And then I think we said we wanted to, like... probably Lava Bomb. Yeah, I think so. And maybe Cloud of Ash bottom to just like, maybe, I mean, I might just use that as a move 3. The thing is, I want to create fire for a future turn, so that kind of just makes sense.
Prime sub removes wound, right?
If only, Biology. If only, buddy. If only. Thank you, I appreciate the 3 months using your Amazon Prime sub around here, buddy. Thank you so much. The quest continues, my friend. Okay, so we're going to go 23. Here we go. Let's see how this shakes out. Okay, Frozen Corpse. Well, Pyroclast first, actually. So we're going to move 3 here. So we take a point of damage from the wound. We're going to go 1. Two, which gives me a move this way. And then that means we can now move 3, right? Cool. So we'll replace 1 or 2 adjacent 1-hex hazardous terrain tiles in unoccupied hexes with 1-hex obstacle tiles, right? So that's
Static
this.
Display gifted a tier 1 sub to Dwarf 74. They have given 7 gift subs in the channel.
Hey, hey, hey. Avalani, thank you so much for the resub, buddy. 27 months now with the Prime. Thank you so much. And Static as well for gifting a sub to Dwarf. Thank you so much, Static. Very, very kind of you. Guards and Pog Frogs in chat. Pog Toads. Thank you, Static. It's very kind of you, bud. Hype train incoming. Scam train incoming. Saying you can't use your Prime sub until May 10th and you're looking at the calendar. That's strange. Uh-oh. Jeff just wants to hold on to that money for just a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer. Thank you for the biddies, Dwarf. 100 bits for friends. Hype train is leaving the station. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Dwarf. Treasure for the quest. Hey, Magma. Good evening. How's it going? Okay, so we've done that. We're replacing this with... I decided that I need to thematically make a decision on what I'm going to use for the obstacle tiles, I feel like this is probably the best, but I would also not be too sad to use big hot lava stuff. But this is technically supposed to be, you know, hazardous terrain, not an obstacle. So it might be a little bit misleading. I'm gonna go with this. The thing is it looks a little bit too similar to the other terrain in this scenario, but I wasn't sure which one to go for. Okay, so we've done that. We create Earth and gain 1 XP. Very cool. Then we are going to lava bomb. And we'll lava bomb. We'll lava bomb this one. Why not? So that's going to be an attack of 2 at range 3. Attack 2. That is a attack 2. So it's 2 damage against number 2. Okay. Frozen Corpse gonna go. 1, 2. Create ice. Oh, also, we have that scenario condition, right? Because we did the testing of the fire thing in this scenario, I think. So ice is never going to go down from waning the entire scenario, right? I believe. Because we had that event, that outpost event that did that. Or that section book event, even. I think it was. So I believe that ice will always remain at waning now that it's been made. I mean, obviously, if it gets consumed, then it goes away, I believe. But it never gets reduced from waning to gone. That makes sense. Remember to create fire in the hazardous terrain. Yeah. Good call. Whoop. Not that one. Not that one. Fire. Move 3. I guess with the initiative ties. Right, Snow Imp. This is kind of like the scary bit, I guess. So they're flying 1. They have range 3. So they're going to attack. So the first one is going to attack my Pyroclast. For -2, so no damage, but does add brittle. That was a clutch draw there, because we could actually just die here if we got the wrong ordering of things, I guess. Well, I mean, I guess we could still die with the ×2. Well, not die, but we'd take... Yeah, we would. We'd take 8 damage. We would die. And then the next one... sorry, he should move... He'll move back 1. So that will do 4 damage to the Pyroclast. And remove brittle. Okay. Bit of a scary opener. This didn't work out the way that I wanted it to. I was really hoping that the enemies would come closer to me. I guess I didn't really figure that one out. I guess I could get him to go... This guy could have been here, right? Yeah, there was an ambiguous path there, so I'm choosing that he moved there. For reasons that will be soon made clear. Imp's push? Oh yeah, Imp's push. Sorry, you're right. So I guess this one pushed me... I guess he pushed me there. then he would have dropped back anyway, and then I couldn't be pushed anymore, right? So we got the all enemies push in this one, right? Okay. Launch pod. So we're going to play one card from our hand to perform the summon action. Oh, wait, we'll do the attack first. So we're going to attack the Skelly. There's going to be 3 damage on the Skelly. Sorry, 2 damage because of the shield one. And then we'll do play one card from your hand to perform a summon action of the card as if you were occupying a hex occupied by a target of the attack ability. So we'll do Jackal Mech. Jackal Mech. What does the Jackal Mech look like? Oh god. It is... Hello? Ah. Jackal Mech. Do I want to put it there, or do I want to put it somewhere else? I guess there's kind of fine. So that's going to get us 2 XP. Nice. And then the bottom action. Oh, Brittle's reapplied. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. Brittle was reapplied. Then I'm going to heal myself for 3. And regenerate. Bit of an overkill here, but I thought maybe I might take a hit and then would need more, but regenerate's nice. So yeah, Brittle needs to be reapplied to Pyroclast. Which just means we're going to take 2 points of damage at the beginning of our turn now if we're not careful. Okay. End of our turn. So we can go for a big heal, which I think we kind of have to at this point, right? Yeah, I think we have to go for something like this, maybe. Yeah, I think so. We need a big heal. Hive. We want to go early on Hive here to like hopefully capitalize a little bit on this. How much health does Living Bones have? 3. And we're going to be attacking for 2 with wound. There's a good chance we kill it. I guess we should follow up with something that's fairly cautious in case we need to. Our movement on these characters is kind of interesting. I guess No, I didn't like lose the movement card, but our movement's really interesting because we kind of have to sort of use our transfer abilities to kind of move the most. It's probably why this leaper is so important, but also the bottom of this card is so important. This bottom, or this as a summon to swap with, seems like very, very important for movement already. We could just play a long-range missile. Or I could play a Faceless Entity. Faceless Entity seems like a good play. We use the bottom of this to transfer out, maybe. Then we get the Jackal Mech, so then we'll be adding +1 to our melee attacks. I guess if that's the case, then I should probably... Yeah, no, then I want to be playing the top of Faceless Entity, really. Huh. I guess I could play a long-range missile, couldn't I? Man, this character's got so much to it. Like, I just want to, like, move too, but it's kind of awkward. I guess I use remote control to just move as a default too? That just seems so bad. And then even then I don't get the range that I want. Let's play long-range missile top. God damn. Okay, well, I mean, I don't know. This I kind of feel like I need to just see a few rounds and just see how this goes, because there's so much like interwoven stuff going on here that I have no clue, you know? Like, yeah, I feel like this is the way I want to play it, but I almost need to see it to believe it. Right. So, oh, I should make my summons too, shouldn't I? Yeah. So Jackal Mech is going to go first. It's going to attack for 2. 3. Perfect. So that actually no, that doesn't kill the Living Bones. Does 2 damage to Living Bones, but wounds the Living Bones. Good job. That's nice. Then it's our go. So I was going to long-range missile. Oh, I can't really, can I? Well, actually, yeah, I can. I can just do a default move too on the bottom here. I'll do default move too. Then we use long range missile on the, I think we want to do it on the snow imp at the back, right? Snow imp at the back. It's a bit of a waste, but it feels like it's probably worth it. Nice. Okay, you're dead. If this snow imp dies, we'll start counting this. And then that's it. That's the turn. Okay. Rip kill credit? Yeah, no kill credit, unfortunately, but kind of is what it is, right? Okay. Pyroclast. So, first thing we're going to do is we are going to consume that fire. And we are going to attack for 2 on to number 6. Ugh. 1. Gain an XP. But we get to make a hazardous terrain there. Then we're going to use cooling, which is going to heal us for 5. Did I take 2 damage from the... I don't think I did I? I think I should have taken additional damage from the brittle there. And then the brittle should have fallen off, I think. How does wound work with brittle? Yeah, it does trigger it. Because it's just the next time you suffer damage, not like the next time you're attacked or anything. Okay. Pyroclasts are done. Living Bones dies. Very good. Snow Imp is going to consume an element to get an extra target here. So I guess this is a little bit worrying. It's just going to stay where it is. So it's going to stay where it is. It's going to attack the Pyroclast and it's going to attack the Jackal. So first up, the Pyroclast will take no damage, but we will take a poison, a brittle. Poison, a brittle. And then again on the Jackal, +1, so 1 damage. Brittle and poison. Frozen Corpse is gonna move 1. I mean, it's gonna be 1 away regardless, right? This is ambiguous, because if it goes here, it would have to go here, which is also 1 away. I guess it would be better to maybe stack this coin spot. So maybe we do it this way. But again, it's probably unlikely that I get to stack this coin spot anyway. Yeah, it's probably pretty unlikely I get to stack the coin spot anyway. But I do have a loot 1, don't I? Or did I... I might have pitched that to the discard. I did. Yikers. I guess it's okay. Shouldn't the imp have pushed the Jackal? Oh yeah, it should have. Oh shoot, yeah, actually, so he's going to be in range, right? Oh shoot, yeah. Oh dear, this could be bad. Wow, I might lose my Jackal already. That's interesting. So he's attacking for 4 with a load of extra damage on it, right? Yeah, goodbye Jackal. That's an attack of 8. Not a good start. There goes our best offensive card. Yeah, so now I've got nothing to switch into too, which kind of blows.
Now that's a lot of damage!
Okay. How much health does the musical cost? Got 11. It's quite a lot. At least I have reassemble. Yeah, but it's not that good. The challenge works for them, right? Why, what died and had negative condition? Oh, right, yeah, I should take a wound for that, I guess. It's fine, though, because I have to regenerate. Oh, no, I didn't kill him. It's a character kill. That doesn't count. I'm not sure what you mean. I killed this and it didn't have anything on it. This guy died to wound, but the character didn't kill them. The wound killed them. The summon? What? The summon... What do you mean? The summon have poison? No, whenever any character kills an enemy. Character. Not figure. Character. Yeah. No, it says character. Which I don't believe that counts, right? Hey, Totox. I have reassemble, yes, but reassemble doesn't feel like maybe one of the best things for me to do. I mean, I guess I could just do it now and be like, hey, we burnt a card, you know, and we just get on with it. I mean, it does kind of, it will get us out of a bit of a bind. Ah, screw it. I'm just going to do it. See what happens. Let's just push all of the buttons, shall we? Okay, so we'll play reassemble. Place one card from your lost pile to perform a summon action on the card. Right, Jackal Mech. That gets us 2 XP. a transfer. So we will transfer into the Jackal mech. Which means that we pick up the Jackal mech standee. I may as well put it down here like this for now. And then we get the old Leaper. And the Leaper will replace us. So should we go boom, boom. I guess I could have summoned into this hex, but I don't think it really matters. So that's our transfer. Then we get to move to wherever. We'll just move here so we can get this loot. So now we have the Jackal mech up, which is at the start of each of our turns suffer 2 damage. We get to add +1 to all our melee attacks. Okay. What was the other personal quest? Donations to the temple. Like 14 or something. So we'll use Faceless Entity. So because of the +1, we're going to attack for 3. So we'll attack for 3. That's 3 damage. Oh, 2 damage. And we take a retaliate. That kind of sucks, actually. I didn't see the retaliate there. Then I can transfer again, or I can... Transfer is always optional, or potentially I could just attack again. I think I just attack again. Okay, another 2. Go away. What is this? Take a point of damage. Okay. So that's that all done. Probably gonna have to long rest next turn. But I guess it's fine. It happens. Oh, I guess I could have used the Warden robes, couldn't I? Oh, it wouldn't have made a difference. It was dead anyway, because it was like double ×2, wasn't it? It was crazy attack. I guess I could have used the Warden robes, though. I should remember that I have those. I'll forget. So that's Hive. We will get a loot token. All right, good loots. We need just materials, really. No, wrong player. Oh, I should have just pressed undo. I keep forgetting, really. I could just press undo and it would have been fine there. So Pyro. So, yeah, this feels like a little bit of a waste, but whatever. So we'll move 1 and we will leave a little hazardous terrain behind us. Then we're going to do Deep Fury, so we're going to attack for 3, add +1 attack and push 2 and gain 1 XP if you are occupying hazardous terrain. If you are occupying hazardous terrain, perform heal 2. So we will get the +1. So, boom, +1, dead. Gets us an XP. And we get to do that heal 2. So that's just going to take those away. Okay. I guess we just have to kind of remember this. We've done Imp. Oh no, I couldn't do that because of this thing. Oh, I messed up. I couldn't do that because of this thing. Oh dear. Do I have 2 more? I could have a different move I could have played. Yeah, I do. Alright, I just played the different move. It's fine. Could I have gone before them? Yes, on 28. Yeah, it wouldn't have made a difference to the initiative. Okay, good. But that does mean that this isn't here anymore. And then this happens. I gotta remember these. There's gonna be a lot of levers to pull with these 2 characters. Okay. You're dead. So it's gonna attack me for 3. Two. Okay. Great, nice. I get pushed. Go that way. Okay. So now we have the special hive thing. I should have taken the reminder card out for that. I'm not sure why I didn't. I did for the... I'll get the reminder card a sec.
Woot woot go MQ go.
Hey Shadow. How's it going, buddy? 24 months now, 2 years. Thank you so much, bud, for all of the support. We are going, we are learning. We are challenging ourselves. That's the one. Remote override. Whenever we long rest, we may do so on any initiative value. Choosing your initiative after all ability cards have been revealed, and you decide how your summons perform their abilities for the round. It's kind of cool, huh? Right, yeah, so we will long rest. I just feel like I haven't done a very good job with the Pyroclast. And I kind of, I don't know why, but I kind of got distracted by these guys. I guess this Exterminator battle goal has kind of grabbed my attention maybe a little bit too much. Because now I'm in a very weird situation where I can't actually get over there anyway. So maybe I just long rest. No, I guess I still play a turn just to kind of play my cards out. I don't want to waste stamina unnecessarily. 42. Okay, I think I want my summon to tank here. So I'm going to go... Oh, I don't know. Let's say 41. Aha! Surprise! So the Leaper's going to go first. It's got shield 1. It's going to focus on the enemy furthest away from the hive, which is still it. So, I guess it would still go here. Then it is going to do a little attack 1, which probably isn't going to do much because they retaliate anyway. Okay. Oh, 2. There you go. 1 damage. 1 damage, and I guess I should add... Need to add this in. 1 damage. Okay, great. So then I get to long rest. So I guess I will heal up. It's kind of weird. It feels like I'm kind of breaking the game, you know? And we will get our cards back. We'll have to get rid of 1. I think I'm going to have to probably get rid of the sniper turret this game. I don't feel like I'm going to be able to play it. Yeah, realistically, I want to try and get the repair drone out as well, I think, at some point. So, no. I think we'll get rid of this. Love, love, love the long rest perk. Yeah, it seems super good. Have to take the 2 damage from Jackal mode. Thank you. I would have forgotten that. Okay, so it's going to attack our Leaper. So it's going to attack for 2. I guess I just use this so that it takes no damage. I mean, I guess I'm going to be doing a fair bit of long resting, so I know that I kind of don't get it right now, but I get a fair bit of long resting. But that is going to take Brittle. I guess it's going to get pushed 1. Pyroclast is literally going to do nothing here, really. Except we will just be doing a default move 2. I guess we'll just get on. We'll get some loot here. Oh, yeah, we'll get some loot because it's actually only going to be a move 1 because of this. Yeah, that's why I did it. I remember now. I remember now. Ugh, not what we want. Yeah, not the start to this scenario that I was kind of envisioning, if I'm honest. Obviously a very fun room, but I am, yeah, I guess to be expected until I can kind of pick up my tempo with these guys. Kind of hard without like Pierce or something to kill this guy. Yeah, seriously noting the lack of movement at the moment on this character. I guess I could use launch pod for the bottom. Seems reasonable. Yeah, maybe we go with something like this. What's soft is on my phone. This. Well, it is this. I'm just mirroring my phone. This is Gloomhaven Secretariat. If you type !helper, Natch, you'll get the link. Yeah, let's go for this. Trying to figure out the ins and outs of this. Okay, a leaper first. That's cool. Don't know if it did that before. Okay. Boop. And we'll attack for 1. Okay. Has brittle though, so the retaliate's going to trigger here, right? We're going to get ourselves some retaliate. So it's going to be 2 damage. But we remove that brittle. Could be worse, but again, I don't really want to lose another summon. It's kind of bad, right? Hey, Brett Spiel. How's it going, buddy? Welcome in. Okay. So, Hive time. We're going to take a couple of points of damage here. I don't think we can actually swap, right? Can we not? I don't think we can. Because when we swap, we take... This is the weird part. It's going to be a little bit hard to manage the damage. I might actually have to do it manually here. Because the idea is that I take the damage and I put it on me. So, like, it might be a little bit difficult for me to kind of see what's going on. I might have to start doing this. To try and, like, make sure that I know what I'm doing. Because obviously, like, I would love to transfer with this, but if I do, then I'm going to take 3 damage, and I'm on 3 health, so that would kill me. Like, that's not a good idea. So what, did I take the damage? Let's get it undo. Did I undo? Did I do 2 damage to me? I did. Okay, so I'm on 3. So let's do long range missile first. We'll attack for 3. That's 4. So 3 damage. Shield. Oh, I guess I could have done this, right? To add pierce. Yeah, I should do that. I should remember to use my tricorn hat to add pierce. 1 extra point of damage. Take it. And that's what I bought it for. Then I guess I can just sit here and heal myself. Jackal mode seems like too much of a liability. The thing is that I think you want to jump in and out of it very quick. Like, you do not want to start your turn in it. I think the idea here is I should probably be using... like Reaper function to just get a big bonus and then immediately kind of transfer out of it with something like the bottom of Face's Entity, or alternatively use Face's Entity to like attack for 3, then transfer out of it and then do like an attack 2 afterwards. Something like that. Like that's the... I feel like that's pretty much where it's going to be. Yeah, that mode's going to kill me. I think it will. So next I'm just going to heal myself for 2, because that's all I can do to try and offset a little bit of this horrendous damage. But we do have a repair drone come in, chat, so don't worry, the repair drone's coming. So Frozen Corpse is just going to brittle and immobilize the Leaper. Pyroclast is gonna heal up for 2. Get rid of something. I feel like in the next room we might have some really good options for the Pyroclast with the snaking areas and things. I need decent movements, to be honest. But the other thing, though, is I'm kind of planning on just... or just looting, to be honest. Looting seems fine. Yeah, this feels like a bit of a nothing turn to just get some loot, but hey ho. So what cards can I get rid of? I need to probably get rid of... Actually, no, I think I get rid of Cloud of Ash, maybe. Yeah. So we're thinking about doing that as a move. Possibly that, because I don't think I actually want to use that for a while. Okay, next round. Yeah, so this unfortunately, we're going to end up taking at least 2 points of damage from the Brittle here because of the Retaliate as well. It's a bit problematic, to be honest. A little bit problematic here. I definitely need to transfer. I definitely need to transfer. I can discard the persistent card now. Can I? Can I? Are you sure about that? You can only do so for cards with mandatory persistent bonuses at the start of your rest. Oh, cool. Okay. Well, that's good. That's a really... Oh, okay, well, that's not so bad then. I was kind of like worried about that. Okay, that's good. Sure. Well, that's a nice little bonus. I don't have to worry so much about my movement. That might change what movement card I play, actually. Because I was thinking, oh, I have to play something particular, but I guess I don't now. Ah, I'll probably play the same card still. Okay. So I definitely need to swap. That much is true. We need to transfer. Because I can't keep taking 2 damage at the start of my turn. Down to 3. Go for 3. Yeah, I guess this works out. 16. It keeps us going. Hive reminds me a little bit of Trap, in the sense that there's you can tell that there's going to be a particular order, and at the moment I'm not entirely sure what the right order is, but once you kind of get a bit of a flow down with it, I think it'll be fine. It's kind of like that thing with Trap where you're like, what's the balance between cards that attack and cards that place traps? And what does that balance look like? And when do you need to like focus on one more than the other? And I feel like at the moment with Hive, I'm getting that vibe of like, okay, when's my turn to like play a summon? When's my turn to like transfer? When's my turn to, you know, play my own attack cards and things like that? Or how do I best like weave all of those things together? So the Leaper's going to go first. It's going to attack for 1. Okay, no damage, but it's going to take Retaliate 2, so that's going to take 2 more damage. Oh, actually, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to take this. It might just be dead. Might just be dead to me, chat. I cannot take all this damage on, I don't think. So I need to take 2 damage. But then I'm going to use heal 3 self anyway. So we'll go up to +1 with the regenerate there. And then we'll play high impact projectiles. So we'll attack for 2. Maybe. No damage. Yeah, this is... I mean, maybe also the level 1 attack modifier deck. I don't know. But this is rough. I'm going to lose the Leaper now, and there's nothing I can do about that either. But maybe that's fine. Maybe I should just resign myself to losing 1 per room or something. I don't know. How many rooms is scenario? 3, yeah. This scenario is probably not a great one to learn these characters on, to be honest. Because it's, like, seems pretty fun, but there's a lot of, like, small interactions. Pyroclast should be insane, really, considering that we're actually unaffected by hazardous terrain, which is like literally the mechanic of the scenario, so we should be fine. But our level 1 attack modifier deck not playing ball here. Why am I not surprised? So Frozen Corpse going to attack. Oh, well, Pyroclast is going to go next. I guess I could just chuck the Pyroclast in here. Yeah. Actually, I can't. I haven't played an ability that has enough versatility to be able to do anything here. I can save the Leaper, I suppose, and then tank myself. And then I would take an attack of 4 on the Pyroclast, which I guess is not the end of the world, because I can just heal for 5. Oh boy, what a great start. Not all hazards terrain, just the ones we create. Oh, you're right. Okay, I didn't think about that either. So actually, we're not that great at it then. Boring perks always first. Yeah. Necessary. Not necessarily boring. Necessary, I guess. Move 3, push him away for 1, but then he's still going to focus on the Leaper. Doesn't achieve anything. Just let the Leaper die and just forget about it. And just be like, okay, we're probably losing this scenario. I can use the ring. Oh yeah, I could use the ring, right? That's true. I could use the ring. Can I kill it by using the ring? Not if I want to get the loot, I don't think. Kind of makes sense to try and kill it though, right? We might just have to give up on this loot. Okay, so we're going to move here for 1. Two, 3. Or can I go there? I have to go there. Okay. I guess that also helps with the exterminator thing, so I guess that's fine. We're also getting like one more enemy for Exterminator. So we'll use the ring here to pull them for 4. So that doesn't go away. So that's going to kill him. Because hazardous terrain does 2. You would not create a power class before a few previous retirements to be able to get the triple and remove some negatives. Yeah, maybe. I'm not a, the thing is though, is I've never been a huge fan of that kind of like I feel like every character should be able to function at level 1. And to be clear, I think power class absolutely can. It just feels a little bit bad that we have to, well, we don't have to spend our perks on it, but it's like heavily incentivized to, right? Especially if you're playing 4-player, I feel like otherwise it's really hard. But we could maybe get away with not using it, but yeah, personally I feel like every character should really be able to play at level 1. I'm not a fan of like previous classes like triangles that just kind of didn't really function at 1, like did technically, but was very rough at 1. Power class definitely can, but not with a summoner in the party. Yeah, it's tricky. Okay, so we dealt with the problem. It's fine. I can't transfer into the Leaper. This is like terrible. I'm like stuck in this jackal mech. I need a targeted heal is what I need. I need a healing potion is what I need. Let's open the door, see what happens, huh? I like the way that this is pretty much never going to be looted unless you have the loot one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm never going to be able to heal more than 2 in a round to get out of this jackal mech. I'm always just going to be taking 2 damage. This is like crazy. Getting stuck in this thing is like your worst nightmare. Honestly, it's like now I'm suddenly playing the scenario on like super hard mode. I need a top heal. Yeah, I don't really know what to do about it, chat. I have the heal full top. Nope. I figured I had enough heal, and like I guess my reasoning was that I felt like I could get out of the jackal mech. What I should have done is I should have left reassemble for later and just been like, it's fine, we'll play without it for a little while. Or I should have done. I can't get out of it. So next turn I'm going to go to 7 because of my regenerate, but then I will immediately lose another 2. So I get to mitigate 1 point of damage, basically. So I'll be on 5 with no regenerate, And guess what? There are 5 damage tokens on the Leaper. Don't think I've been updating that very well there. Oh, and another one. I don't think I've updated that health right. I'm going with the damage tokens here. I'm pretty sure it's right here. Because I took a bunch of damage from the retaliates and the brittles and stuff, right? I need to drop a new one and transfer. Yeah, I could, but they're in my discard as well. So that doesn't really help. Pyro's going solo here, possibly, yeah. It's just annoying, like I kind of feel like I just want to restart the scenario. Because I had a really brutal road event and I've cocked this up massively. To a point where I'm like, I could try and we can try and stumble through and who knows, maybe we can recover it in some way. Maybe I just need to take 2 more points of damage and then just go to a long rest, and then like swap out in a minute and just kind of like, you know, get on with it sort of thing. I don't know. Maybe we'll do that and we'll just, yeah. Do I want to have a move 6 but take a bunch of damage? Yeah, I think that's okay. But then I lose the flowing fire combo. My god. And my movement blows here. Oh, I don't know. I feel like everything that could possibly go wrong is going wrong right now. Okay. We'll go first on the pyro to hopefully get something going. We go 48 and we just, I don't know, long rest in a minute and something might happen. Probably swap out Jackal Mech at first. Seems like too risky. I feel like Jackal Mech is fine. I just didn't understand the transfer economy. And I kind of forgot that, oh yeah, this takes damage and then there's going to be a problem. Like, it's a combination of, like, the brittle and the retaliate, right? I couldn't do anything about that. So that's what caused it. If there was no brittle or retaliate on those enemies, this would have been fine. It was just that, yeah, that has really compounded into a big issue here when it wouldn't have been before. Right, we're going to move for 2 anyway. We'll do a little move for 2. We'll try and get as much information about this scenario before, anyway, to see what happens. But it's, yeah, these characters are like not like as easy. I mean, a Pyroclast does seem like it would be a little bit easier, but trying to play two pretty difficult characters, I would say, especially Prism, together for the first time.
Taking a short breath to look around, you feel an odd sensation. It seems as if something is trying to draw out your anger and rage, but you quickly shake it off. It may, however, be the reason why these other creatures were drawn here.
Okay. Okay, we got a bunch of enemies and some more icy terrain. Oh, weird. We'll have to actually go through it. Yeah, kind of interesting there. Forcing you through it. I like that. I'm going to rob a couple of these because I don't think they're going to have any bearing anymore. Oh, I do have some more, to be fair. Well, that doesn't seem very nice. Got one there. Do. Elite. Prism was one of the only classes you had no idea how to play well. Much harder than the other 5 complexity ones, in your opinion. Well, it's certainly not immediately obvious what the correct things to do. I'll see how we get on. Oh, hang on. There's no point me doing that, right? Because we can just do the... Yes. Lovely. No Ice Wraith, so I guess the Ice Wraith has to just be in the last room, huh? Elite Imp. Okay. It's not a I mean, it's much the same as the first room, right? Just like a kind of like a condensed version. Okay. I guess we're kind of getting screwed a little bit here by all of these enemies as well. Yeah, looks very much like we are. Oh, I've used this, right? Okay, so I mean we were here, right? So we've done our 2 move. That is it. We have 2 doors for the next room. you know what really, really annoys me in the Frosthaven book? They use green. They use a green 2 to indicate like the doors, and they did the same thing with the previous one, like a green 1 or whatever. But the green tokens in the game are the letters, not the numbers. What's that about? I mean, I guess I just lava bomb. I don't know. I lava bomb number 3. Yeah, sure. I mean, I feel like my pyroclast is just about to die anyway. No door opening abilities. No way of doing anything. This is gonna be a fun group of characters. Oh, I haven't given him his number 3. Oh, now he has shield. I didn't think he had shield. Joy. 8. What did I draw? Is it -1? No. So it's like 1 damage. I mean, I guess they all have shield, so what is it? What difference does it make here? Fire! How do I like Deathwalker? Do I prefer melee or ranged in a group of 2? To be honest, I played more of a hybrid version of the character. But I guess I probably leaned a little bit more on ranged. I probably leaned a little bit more on ranged. But I did take a couple of like cards, and I did just use a few melee here or there, just occasionally sprinkled throughout my my playthrough. But I probably by the time I kind of like leveled up and I kind of got set in my build, probably around about like level 3, level 4, I think I was for the most part playing mostly ranged. But I did start kind of just trying a bit of whatever. Okay. So attack for 2. 2. Was that 6 damage? Seems good. I don't think I can be hit by anything else, right? Leaper, leaper, leaper. It's gonna move 5, focus on the enemy furthest away from Hive. I guess. It won't do any attacks because that wasn't his focus, right? Pretty sure. He's still attack, right? I don't think so, because it wasn't his focus, right? It's like the burrowing blades, right? Burrowing blades do a similar kind of thing as the burrowing blades. Like, they won't perform their attack again if they can't. It's like their focus is kind of like reversed. Anyway, I think I'll probably move him again. Grant one of my summons move +1. So now it's going to move 6, and I get to control it. I kind of hope that he can just kind of wail on this thing a little bit. Guess I can move 1 step further away as well. And won't do anything with our other action. And then we long rest, but we get to choose, right? And then we can heal, and then we can swap. God, it's just so, yeah, it's just really jarring. You can control with Grant? Yes. I believe so, right? It's the new ruling. Pretty sure they changed that ruling in Frosthaven. Doo-doo. Yeah, Grant. 33. Grant. Allows a figure to grant an ability to any figure. The commanded figure then performs that ability. If the commanded figure is a character summon or scenario ally, the commanding figure decides how the ability is performed. Yeah, they changed that from Gloomhaven. because it was really like ambiguous at times in Gloomhaven, and there were some abilities that said like control and some didn't, and it was like they were basically just making it very confusing for the sake of like one or two cards working slightly differently. I just, at the moment on the Hive, I just feel like I don't know what the heck is going on. Like, I guess I was kind of expecting that for the first attempt, though. So, you know, it is what it is. Okay, so on our long rest, we can do whatever we like, right? To be honest, $99 might be fine here. I guess I would rather the... I mean, do I care if it's muddled or not? I'm going to be swapping into it, so I'd be taking the muddle myself anyway. Yeah, I guess it's fine. But if I was to draw a +2... Nah, it's fine. Yeah, we'll leave it as it is. Okay, so Pyroclast first. Part of you wonders if Hive could be built defensively. Absolutely. I think with the... if you use the tank, absolutely. The tank really makes that pretty good. Okay, so we're going to use Igneous Path. We're going to go for it. We're going to burn this card. Designate a featureless hex within range 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Create a 1 hex has terrain tiles in that hex and all featureless hexes on a direct path to it. Figures occupying hexes with the created tiles suffer 3 damage, gain 1 XP for each figure damaged. It's like, obviously, like, this could be amazing if we lined it up with the imps, but because it would just basically kill them. Do I have any more? No, so I have to remove one. That one for now. Okay, so that's 3 damage to you. That is 3 damage to you. We gain 2 experience points. And we create fire again. Then I'm going to heal myself for 5. Running out a little bit of space here, but I've got plenty of space up top. Okay. Okay, so imps, just gonna chill. We're gonna get muddled. It's just gonna get strengthened. Okay. Living Bones gonna go next, so they're gonna move 5. Attack 2. agree. Then it's going to push us for 1. I mean, we could push wherever we want here, right? Push us here, where we carry on to this. Could push us here, where we carry here. I think we probably want to get further away, not closer. But then, like, I just don't have that much movement on these characters. I feel like I'm now back into this room. I can switch here immediately with the prism, so that's not a problem. But Pyroclast is like, yeah, I'm moving. I guess I can move 6 in a go. It's not so bad. Yeah, let's just do it. We'll worry about that later. I kind of get the feeling that this scenario is not going to go our way anyway. Okay, so it's gonna have to move 1. I guess it can move there without going through a negative hex, so it will move to here. Didn't really think about that, but that is also true. I guess that's the other weird thing that I'm going to have to try with this party, is that if I've got stuff like this going on with the prism, then I'm going to have problems where I'm trying to direct the enemy into certain positions and it's just not going to work. Like, maybe Leaper is really not what I want to play. Maybe playing this as my first one was a mistake, because it kind of puts me in a weird place where I have this summon that can kind of just annoyingly get in the way and upset things. Because obviously, like, what I wanted this guy to do was to start coming this way. That would have been perfect. But now he's going to start heading this way. And that's kind of a problem. Do you just bring Leaper for ranged enemies? I don't even feel like you use it necessarily for the ranged. I think you just use it for the bottom as a move 4. Like, that would be completely fine. I mean, it's going to work out quite well here in a second where I transfer all the way over there. But it's tenuous, I would say. Okay, it's going to attack for 1 with Myrtle. And I suffer 2 damage. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Well, I healed 2, right? I long rested, so I just don't heal, right? I didn't get. Did I give myself 2 health? I did. This might work out kind of okay. Not super happy about it. I also just haven't seemed to get the hazardous terrain in good places. You know? Like, I thought like this was really good move, and now I'm gonna end up not using any of it. This feels bad, man. Hot Sauce, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in. Caused me at least 10 damage. Yeah, it's not a problem if I can heal it off regularly, but I just can't, really. Is unfortunately the kind of the be-all and end-all of it all. I'm wondering if I can do something funny here, but I don't know. I don't know. Stumbling through this like as best I can, I guess. Okay, so Leaper is gonna do an attack again. No damage. I mean, I just don't... Like, my level 1 attack modifier deck plus summons seems fun, you know? Hive's turn. So I'm gonna... so I take 2 damage, right? 3... I'm going to heal myself for 3. Hang on, did I take 3 damage or did I give myself 2? Yeah. Heal myself for 3. Give myself... Regenerate. Okay, now we're going to finally do it. We're going to attack 2, which we can't do. Then we're going to transfer. So we are going to... swap. So I'm going to take 5 damage. Right? That's how that works. I'm probably just dead. I don't know. Then I attack it for 2. Yeah, I'm kind of done with this scenario. Yeah, I'm kind of done with it. I'm thinking maybe we just restart the scenario and see how far we can get. I mean, I don't have that long. It's like 11 o'clock already. Yeah. It's like I think this is like a fairly good learning exercise right now, but there's no point playing this scenario on. Brutal road condition, not knowing really, like trying to play the characters for the first time. Yeah, I don't really see the benefit in continuing this scenario, except for maybe getting like a little bit of XP, but there's nothing to it really. Yeah, there's nothing to it. So I think that's it. Honestly, I think that's it. That goes to the bottom of that. We'll reset it slightly. We'll reset this. We'll get him next time. Yeah, well, it's just like a learning issue, isn't it? Really, like that's all it is. Like, there's a reason why this character is considered very complex. because it is like you can go wildly wrong, you know? And I think that shows a pretty good demonstration of what happens when you kind of think you know what you're doing, but then like you fall into like a pitfall of the character without realizing it, and then it's like it's too late. You've kind of, at that point in time, I mean, it was pretty much over, I think, when I'd already lost one of the summons, like early on, because I was like, oh no, I'm going to take a bunch of damage that I didn't think of because of this, the way the scenario kind of played out. But it's fine. Like, we had a really, really brutal road event as well that just pretty much was like, hey, by the way, you've never played this character before. Now play it with 2 cards less in your opening hand. Like, oh, okay. So that window of, you know, that window of being able to maybe make a small error was just closed. It didn't exist. I also feel like I didn't get as much out of the Pyroclast. Like, the Pyroclast is definitely more straightforward, but I just didn't get enough out of the Pyroclast that I should have or could have, I think. Like, ideally, I should have been going late, maybe following up on the skeleton or something like that. What I might do is we might just, like, restart and play. I mean, I've got a bit of time. What I might do is I might restart and play just, like, the first room. Like, kind of just hit the restart button and see how we do. Just try and maybe clear the first room as just a bit of a learning experience, and then, you know, we can maybe pick it up next time. Honestly, yeah, the simultaneous retirements might be hurting me a lot here, but it does make the viewing experience more interesting. Well, yeah, to me, it's more of like, I don't want to be spending, and I can't really spend, like, it makes sense for me to kind of do an entire episode of retirement, because it just works out nicely, because we can review the cards, we can put all that time to one side, and we can just do that. I feel like that's better. And yeah, there is the initial problem of, okay, it's more difficult to begin with because you're trying to learn 2 at once. So yeah, that is more difficult, definitely. But I feel like once you get over that hurdle, it kind of like, you know, the positives outweigh the negatives, in my opinion, in terms of structuring the campaign. I mean, I had exactly the same problem with the Deep Wraith when I started playing it, and it took me a while to get into it. We're trying to figure out, okay, what element do I need to create an element on turn 1? Do I need to do this? I feel like the thing with the Pyroclast is that I was kind of expecting to just have naturally more hazardous terrain out quicker. And actually, it doesn't play like that. It's not like, oh yeah, all of your cards give you hazardous terrain, so just play whatever and you can make them. It was more, oh, actually, I need to plan where my hazardous terrain is going much more. Like, it's a big deal. And I need to actually plan, like, the playing of it and where the enemies are going to be in relation to me playing it. Because they're going to avoid it. And also in this scenario with all of the pushing and stuff, they kind of like, you know, I end up in a weird position as well, comparatively. So it can just kind of upset you in certain ways. So let's just do a quick reset. I think I might change a card on the Prism too. I think that kind of maybe makes sense because we were just a little bit kind of confused what was going on. Let's wipe all this away. Put that there. And that was one of these. And there was also one of these down here. Okay. I probably should have done this a little bit earlier and see when the writing was on the walls. Flying enemies are kind of rough. Yeah. But then, like, I do have abilities that don't really care about that, right? On the Pyro class. Because you have, you know, as long as they're on a hazardous terrain, then you get some kind of benefit. Normal living bones, normal living bones. I felt like I got a little bit unlucky with some of the monster ability draws in that one too. It seems to kind of be quite aggressive on me. 2 regular imps. Hang on, there's one more spike. Okay, let's quickly do battle goals, challenge, and we'll try again. Had a lot of, yeah, I had like that move 4 as well on the skeleton, which was just kind of a bit annoying. Like, oh yeah, that's like the exact amount of movement that you need to get to me. So let's go for Prism first, Hive first. Never exit a room with loot tokens in it. Sure, why not? Let's go big or go home now, right? Slowpoke, Bully, and Pedestrian. Move no more than 2 hexes each turn. Just seems... that wouldn't work, right? Yeah, because icy terrain is going to make us move like way more than that. Yeah, no. Never enter a hex occupied by an ally, enemy, objective, or obstacle. Probably pretty doable. I mean, we're not going to go into a hex occupied by a obstacle. There aren't any objectives. Enemies, I guess, maybe. But I don't think we jump, do we? So, well, I mean, we could probably get away with that. Would a push from the enemy count as a move from Slowpoke? No. Because it says, well, I don't know, it says each turn. Actually, it doesn't say on your turn, it says each turn. So maybe it would, yeah. That's a pretty rough draw, I think. Kill an enemy that has 2 or more negative conditions is basically impossible with what we have. We could chuck in the armored tank, maybe, for a bit of fun. I feel like I'm already, like, lacking in movement, though. But I guess I'll have the Leaper as a move 4. Yeah, no, let's keep it the same. I'm just gonna play a slightly different ordering, I think. That's the important part, right? Play a slightly different ordering. That's the main thing here. I felt okay about the cards on my Pyroclast, except I was missing maybe one more move. I felt like maybe I could do with some other little move card. A move 3 or 4 would be great. Maybe I bring Wildfire in. I did think about that before. And that would certainly would have made one of the battle goals a little bit easier. Yeah, maybe I'll go back and take the other battle goal and bring Wildfire. Sure. Why not? So let's bring Wildfire in and let's take out... I honestly felt like Quenched Rage is probably not great here. I mean, it does do a lot of damage in this scenario, though. No, it's got so much upside. Honestly, maybe it's Eruption. Maybe I'm just, like, trying too hard to make Eruption a thing. Let's get rid of Eruption. I love it, and I want to play it, but let's just try without it for now. And just see if we have a little bit more of a consistent... play style without it. But I totally want to play with the card, though. It's just so cool. Bam, 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 bam. Eruption's very good, but it's so hard to squeeze in a loss on Pyro. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Also, it's a card that doesn't really do anything quite a lot of the time. Because if I'm trying to, like, distance myself from enemies, am I going to be able to do that bottom attack? It's a very specific card that needs to be weaved into your initiative in a very particular way. Can be very good, but you need to do that bit of extra work. And, yeah. Okay, so what do we got? Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11. Right, good. 11 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Challenge. Offensive spread. All figures add -1 and +1 target. All of their single target attack abilities. Ooh. -1, but +1 target. All of their single target attack abilities. Oh, hell yeah. All figures too, so that counts summons? Yeah? Would summons would take this into account when focusing, right? Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, you know, the Jackal is gonna do work. I guess how many times did I really have multi-target setup though in this scenario? Not much. Don't see why they wouldn't. No, me either. But I'm just thinking that now with Wildfire, potentially I could be adding like Poison and Wound to 2 things at once. I could be using Lava Bomb to put down 2 hazardous terrain on the first turn. Oh, right, it's all Oh, it applies to enemies as well. If it applies to enemies as well, maybe it's not so good. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking just players for a second there, but actually you're right. If otherwise we'll have brittle on everybody, and we'll be like hit for 1 billion by this guy all the time. Yeah, no, you're right. That's too risky, I think, with brittle doing the rounds. In theory, though, if you were super aggressive, I felt like that one could be quite a fun one. I like that one a lot. I like the kind of, the jeopardy. -1 damage offsets the brittle, though. That's true. That is true. Maybe we'll try it. We'll see how we go. One thing I just really wish you could do was discard a challenge halfway through a scenario. I feel like that needed to be a rule or should be a house rule. Like halfway through a scenario, you should be able to discard it. I guess the reason why you don't do that is that it could be beneficial for the players for like 1 room, and then you'd be like, okay, get rid of it. But then you don't get the bonus. Like if you discard it, you don't get the bonus. And obviously you want to play it all the way through to get the bonus. You think it's worth? Yeah, possibly. I guess like Skellies have multi-attack anyway. And yeah, do we play a big shield card on Pyroclast and just like tank all of it? Nah. All right, let's not get too wrapped up in this. Let's just let's get it done. Let's get this scenario done, right? Okay, so I have to decide what I want to play on the first turn with Prism. I think this time the play is to play the repair drone. I think the play is to play the repair drone. This gives us a heal 2 at the start of our turns. A little bit better than 2 damage at the start of every turn like last time, huh? Just a little bit better. Just slightly. Imp still needs to go down fast? Yeah. Okay, so makes sense for the Pyro to absolutely just start spitting out as much terrain as possible. I like going late. Not much I can really do about this fella. But I guess the problem with going late is then it's like, oh yeah, we're not really dealing with some of the issues we have at hand. Right, I think we go late on Hive. Because we can heal off the Brittle and stuff. Launch pod the Jackal into play. I actually really like the idea here of going for a play with Wildfire. And then following up with Lava Bomb to get wound poison on like several things, right? I feel like that's pretty good too. And if we go late, then we go late. It's an interesting scenario because there is, I guess there is a world where we do get lucky. Like this. So Snow Imps are going to do absolutely nothing. Thank God. Frozen Corpse is going to go 1. Nothing. So we'll go... One, two. Actually, do I go down the bottom and do the Wildfire? Yeah, we get wound and poison on these two. We got a bit more health, so... Yeah, okay. I think I go 1, 2, 3. And we don't do the bottom of this. But then we do Wildfire top. Destroy 1 adjacent hazardous terrain tile. If you do, on your next 3 attacks... I'll push this back up here. Add wound, poison, and fire. Okay, great. Good start. Really good start. Then we will use... so we'll use the Balm of Summon Leaper, I guess. We'll move forward with Jump. We'll launch pod. I guess we'll launch pod him into the corner maybe. Seems like a good idea. So we'll attack 3 because then he can always just like kind of, he probably will be able to get anyone anyway, but if we miss then we can kill him on the next turn. So we'll launch pod for 3. 6, dead. Oh, off to a great start, everyone. Actually, so it's technically 2 because of the -1 damage, right? I guess also I get to play another summon at the same time. Jesus. Double summons. Let's go. So now we're gonna look. So maybe we could put 2 into play if we wanted to. But it's single target, right? Yeah. All figures add -1 attack and +1 to all of their single target abilities, right? Attack for 3 times 2, so it's 4. It's got 3 health, so it dies. But that means I get a target 2 on the launch pod, right? Oh, I guess I don't get to do this twice because it's not... It's actually... Yeah. I don't get to do this twice because of the line. I mean, that would be kind of crazy if it did, though. Can you imagine? Oh, imagine how spicy that would be. It's separated. So I get to do another attack 3. I guess I'll do it on number 10. Okay, so that's 2. We get 2 XP. Jackal is in play. Great first start, right? So, next round. I really want Pyroclast to go super early here. We didn't create any elements, did we? No, but we are about to. Guess I can go 20. And then maybe I go... Oh man, I really want to go on 19. But it's really just not a good initiative. I guess I could go 32 and just use this as a default move too, but... Or I could go 27, but I want to use reassemble for the top. Sniper turret bottom suddenly gets kind of interesting with this challenge as well. Can actually just attack 2 things for 0. Not great, but when you have poison in play, suddenly really good. Okay, how about we do this on 16? Maybe Reaper function is just a move too. Yeah, I think so. 32. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of weirdness with the initiative dancing, I think, on this character. It's going to be interesting to see how we kind of manage it. But the Hive is going to pretty reliably go before the Pyroclast a lot of times. So I might need to consider, like, maybe boots of speed on the Pyroclast for the odd couple of turns that we really want to go earlier and before. Yeah, you see, like a situation like this doesn't really work out great for us, but we can make it work. Is the Frost effect from Last Outpost still in play since we failed? No, right? No, I don't think so. You very much want movement boost for Pyro for the bottom of Igneous Path. Yeah, I thought that initially, but I'm also kind of thinking maybe we can get away with it. I don't know. Just spitballing at the moment. Okay, so we'll move 6. 3, 4, 6. Oh. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Got there. Although I can't, I don't want to do that because I can't attack anything from there. Not quite what we want to do. It's a nice idea, but it doesn't quite work. Ideally, I want to go like here. I think. What's the, he's only moving for 1, 2. Yeah, here's really where I want to go. So we take 1 damage. Now, and at the start of your next 2 turns, take 1 damage. Okay, so we've done that. Now we're going to do Lava Bomb. So, because of the scenario condition, presumably this works. I mean, it's going to be a target too now. So we'll do an attack on the, I guess, well, we'll do an attack here first. Oh, he's healing though, right? He's healing. Do I really care about it? I guess poison blocks it. Although the Jackal Mech could do some absolute work here. And could attack for 2. Well, I guess it'd be 1 with wound. Yeah, no. Let's still just attack these 2. There's no big play here, I think. So 1, 2. So we're gonna gain 1 XP. And we will so let's attack the you first, times 2. So what was it? So it's an attack 1 times 2 is 2. Has shield 1, so 1 damage. Hey, I mean, it works. It goes through. Then on miss. Beautiful. But that wasn't really the point of playing that anyway. Very cool. That I like a lot, chat. So Pyro's done. It's gonna move 1. It'll heal itself up. But good for me, it still ended up taking some damage, right? And I could probably I could push it into this now if I want to. Hive's turn. I should remember to make my summons. I should just make them both too, right? Because we're going to be like swapping between the 2. I guess technically the repair drone went first. We'll just have to remember that, but. So, Jackal Mech has got to move 3. So 1, 2, scoot, scoot. It is going to attack for 1 here because I believe this still triggers even though there's only like 1 enemy to attack, right? But the good news is that we have really nothing we can do wrong here because we are going to add a wound regardless of what happens because of the innate ability. So that's all good. Then it is up to me. I will do high impact projectiles attacking these two. So we'll go an attack of 2 because this won't be reduced. 1, that sucks. So that's no damage to the living bones, unfortunately. And then on the living corpse, so we do plus poison, so that will be 3 damage, minus the shield, 2 damage. 2 damage to the frozen corpse. Okay. Then, to be honest, I'm just going to use Reaper function as a move 2 here, I think. Because we're just going to go 1, 2, which will then slide us onto here. So then we can get a loot at the end. We'll try and make sure we do this Miser. Miser's quite a nice one to do. Fairly simple. Money, yeah. I mean, I guess now that we've got the shop, money's a bit more usable. Plus, we need money, right, to donate to the temple. Okay, that's all done. It's gonna move for 1. Done. Great. Next round. Cool. Much smoother start this time. Much smoother start. That imp dies as well, right? To that wound, which is good. Did I get money from the fail scenario? Yes, I think I got like 1 coin out of... I think I got 1 coin and 1 herb, so I actually only ended up getting 1 coin. It should be pretty obvious because I'll have no money on... Yeah, like no money there. Oh, I don't know actually. I think I should have had a gold there. Maybe it's because I hit restart scenario rather than fail restart. I think maybe I should have had like... Who drew it? I think the Hive drew it. I think the Hive should probably at this point have... What's our gold conversion? 3? Yeah, I think our Hive should have 3 gold right now. It's probably my fault because if you go here and go, I clicked restart scenario, I should have gone failure restart scenario because then it would have carried it over. So that's my bad. Oh yeah, we absolutely want every coin banker we can get. We absolutely do. Okay, next turn then. Things are going okay right now. I don't want to jinx it or anything, but you know, it's pretty good. Right, Pyro will go 18. I think we can do some fun here. We can have some fun with this card. These 2 cards, I think. Hive is a little bit interesting. We're still just healing 2 at the beginning of each of our turns, which is kind of nice. I think probably remote control is not a bad ability. And probably like maybe sniper turret is also not too bad here. So Pyroclast first. So what we'll do is we will do our move 1. We'll consume fire here to make it a move 2. And I think I can go like this. So if I go like, well actually no, it's probably better for me to go. Yeah, I want to go like this. 1, 2. Because what that'll... And then I can't slide anywhere, right? I can't slide any further this way because I'm getting blocked by this bozo. So... we get to put 2 hazardous terrain tiles down here, which is great, because then this little skeleton's going to have to go the long way around. We gain an XP. Then we use liquid stone. Stone. So this will only be an attack 2, but because of the poison, actually an attack 3 with push 2. Ah, that's really bad. So it's ended up being 3, then with the shield 2. Yeah, so it's 3, minus 1, 2. Minus 1, 1. Poison 2, so it's 2 damage. Is it 2 damage? 3. No, it's 1 damage because of the shield. But then we do get the push. So it's going to go through here. Trying to think of like where I want to put it. I don't want it to go too far away. Let's do it like that and that. So I'll take another 2 damage from that terrain. Okay, Hive's turn. So Jackal Mech. 1, 2, 3, 4. But I guess it would use this, right? Maybe not so good, but we'll see. We might be able to kill it. So it's going to go 1, 1, 2, 3, right? Because if it was here, yeah, I couldn't even get to an enemy even by using it. So this gets him there. 1, 2, 3, yeah. All right, Jackal Mech, do your stuff. So it's only going to attack for 1 here. But with the poison 2. So 3, then minus the shield 2. So 2 damage, but does take a retaliate back. Need to be a little bit careful here. Forgot about that retaliate again. Dang it. What's that? 1 damage back. Uh-huh. Oh. I kind of messed this up too, right? Wildfire would have gone away. Wildfire's gone away too. And I guess I would have created fire. So fire is going to be there, actually. Having thought about it. So that does make my decision a little bit different here. Oh, no, hang on. The fire will kill it, right? If it does the move. Okay, cool. We could make this work. So yeah, what I'll do then is I'll just grant one of my summons a +1 move. And we'll like literally just move it like 1 step back. And then I won't do anything with my top action. I think that's fine. Because then after my turn, it's going to do a move 1, consume the fire. To make it a move 3, it's going to go there. If the element is consumed by the frozen corpse during the move ability, it suffers 2 damage. Boop, boop. Bam. Winner. Okay. Then we've got this guy's going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn over. Look at this. See how much better this room has gone? It's like insane lately how different this room has gone, right? Have I taken any damage on my pyroclast? Oh, I should have been taking loads of damage. I've missed this. How many turns have I done since I played that? Didn't I play that on the second turn? Yeah, I did. It was turn 1. That was turn 2. I should at least have taken 1 more damage, I think. I don't think I'm quite there with the second lot, right? Because I played it to move there. Yeah, I think I've got 1 more. All right, boy, I'm loving this now. We're motoring, chat. I'm starting to see the, you know, things are starting to kind of line up a little bit better this time. So I think I've got a really nice turn here, but we can only do it on 30 initiative. We'll just jump onto this, and then we'll do a nice attack 3, well, attack 4, and we'll get to do a push 2 and gain 1 XP. And, you know, if we don't kill him, we can at least push him into this, which will get the job done, hopefully. So we'll do that on 30. Hope that that's early enough. Hive doesn't really have too much to do. Really doesn't. I could reassemble and then just kind of move towards the door, really. I feel like that's not a bad idea right now. That gets us the repair drone back into our discard pile, which seems pretty good to me. Yeah. The only problem is that we have to go, we have to go before, which kind of sucks a little bit here. Yeah, I kind of wish I didn't have to do that, but... To be honest, maybe the jackal will kill this. Same difference, I guess. So jackal's going to attack for 1 here. 2, 3. With the shield, 2. Wound. No messing. The battle goal? Oh yeah, never exit. Yeah, you're right. We'll have to spend a turn going over here. Yeah. Yeah, good call. We don't want to be messing that up when we've got actually a really good start to this. Yes, that's done. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I guess I just do the reassemble now. So we reassemble. Reassemble. Instead of placing my previous mode card standee on the map as a summon, move that card to my discard pile. So goodbye, repair drone. we zip over here. Oh, I guess I've done the same thing that I've done again. I'm gonna have to take some damage, right? I've done the same thing that I've done before. I made the same mistake that I did before, where I'm gonna end up taking a bunch of damage to this unwillingly. Because I've got myself locked in it again. Hang on, let me think this one through. Is there a way that I could do it a little bit better? Basically, don't play reassemble this turn. Play reassemble next turn. Yeah. Yeah, don't play reassemble this turn. Play it next turn. Reassemble the jackal. Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to do, yeah. So we will be... So we're still here then. We'll redo our turn. It doesn't change too much. But now we get to... so we... We move to... Actually, I think I have to short rest next turn anyway, right? I kind of have to rest anyway. I have to rest anyway. I guess it doesn't matter so much. Because now I won't get to reassemble at all.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hey, it's Wizzly. Right back at you, buddy. 24 months now. Thank you so much for all the Prime support for the past 2 years. Thanks so much, bud. Welcome back. Hope you're doing well. I can use the loot bottom. It's true. I could use the loot bottom, couldn't I? I guess it's okay if I'm in the jackal for like 1 turn, right? Because like I'm just long resting anyway, so I'm kind of offsetting it anyway. Yeah, it's fine. I'm not going to worry about it too much. We're just going to move to transfer, because we do need to get into the jackal in order to do this. The difference really is where do we want the healing drone? And the healing drone has, you know, 2 move, the repair drone. What does a repair drone even look like? Oh, little flying, little helicopter. Helicopter. Yeah, I could do the. I'd have to do the loot 1 action, I guess, on the next turn, right? Which I'm not really. Well, I mean, I guess I could do. Yeah. Yeah, I could just end my. I guess I could end my turn here. It doesn't really make too much of a difference here, right? He's gonna die anyway to the wound, so it's kind of irrelevant. I don't need the kill credit, so it's fine. I also want him to stay there so the pyroclast can get some XP anyway. Okay. So Pyroclast is going to take 1 more point of damage. Then we are going to do, this is just a default move 2, I think. And then we'll do Deep Fury. It's going to be an attack of 3 with push 2. We'll get 1 XP. Nice, dead. Attack of 4. We gain an XP and we get to heal ourselves for 2. Okay, perfect. All right, there you go. Room cleared successfully. Look at that. That was way, way better. Like just that small change of the 2 different things and just like respecting the jackal, I think, has done a big, big difference on Hive. Gotta respect that jackal. So next turn, really, it's long rest on Hive. No reason to do anything other than long rest, and I can do a short rest, or I can just do a default move 2 on Pyro, I guess. Doesn't make too much of a difference here. Just do a move 2. Oh, I guess I could remove a 1-hex hazardous terrain tile and create an obstacle and gain 1 XP in the process. And Earth. This seems like a cheeky one to do to just gain 1 XP towards the end of a scenario, right? And then we move 2. I'm not going to place the terrain. There doesn't seem much point in that. Okay, great. So that is your turn, Hive. We need to take 2 damage because we've. Have we swapped out? No, we didn't swap out. Why didn't I swap out? Yeah, this should be off the board. Yeah, I moved 2, swapped, then moved 2 again. Yeah, this should be on the board. This shouldn't be on the board. That's my mistake. You will never respect the jackal. How rude. I guess I'll get rid of the sniper turret. It's just not going to be playable, this scenario, with the extra targets and stuff anyway. Sure. Yep. So Pyro will long rest. Hive, this could be a really nice setup turn for Hive, right? We want to play Reassemble. To get rid of the Jackal mech, because we want to launch it into the next room. And we can also just use Reaper function for that nice loot. So this is just like a pretty nice... This is a pretty nice way of us kind of just moving forward, I think, this scenario. This round, sorry. So we'll draw. So, should add the... I kind of wish there was a mode you could add this in, but I guess there's no perfect way of doing this. It's like, yeah, they've been... Do I just tap here? Yeah. So we will go... so we'll first off, we'll ignore this transfer. And we'll do a loot 1. So we'll get 2 loot tokens. Arrowvine, and ooh, more gold. That's good for us. That's 9 gold. That's like almost 2 donations, so worth. Then we will do Reassemble. So we will switch our mode. Oop. And then instead of placing our previous card standee on the map, it goes to our discard pile. Which I guess is not a great place for it, because we'd really ideally want it in hand to be able to use it, but I guess it's not so bad. And now we are here, getting our heal 2 at the beginning of each of our turns. We might end up doing some kind of like long rest or something. The drone can heal the pyro. It can. I guess the pyro's going up to full health anyway though, right? With the long rest. Hey Graham. You made it. Welcome in. Good to have you here. Sweet. Okay. So long rest on the pyro. Pyro will get rid of. I need to like get a little bit better at placing the terrain down and stuff, I think. That's a pretty good... I was very happy with the way that that went though. Very cool. What can't I get rid of? So many good cards. I guess Liquid Stone's a little bit awkward because it's like an attack 2, push 2 now. But it's got a move 3 on the bottom. Move 3, push 1 on the bottom as well, which is like just secret damage. Ways to get damage when you maybe weren't expecting to. I guess Cloud of Ash is probably the weakest thing. Or maybe even cooling, you know? I do have some more healing, you know? Do I need to heal for 5? We're going to be killing things pretty quick. And I've already got 1 heal 2. I don't know. Still seems quite good. I guess Flowing Fire is less good, but it is a move 6. Let's get rid of Cloud of Ash. It's just got like a bit awkward. I need to take 1 damage. Transfers to Jackal, so we need to take 1 damage because he got the Retaliate 1. What, from the Living Bones? But then I long rested after that, right? Anyway? So like, you're talking like several turns ago now. You guess the experience of trap placement helps with terrain placement. It does a bit, yeah. But I took 2 from the Jackal. Oh, right, yeah. 2 from the Jackal, but then I would have gone... yeah. Maybe I should have missing 1 health. I mean, yeah, sure. I'm not going to worry about it too much. So all I want to do now, really, is I want to loot this token. And then I think, to be honest, I'll probably call it a day today. Because, like, we don't have time to complete the scenario. But we have enough time to maybe, like, get to a point where we're like, yeah. We can pick it up. Pick it up maybe tomorrow or Friday. And then, yeah, Friday would probably be better because then I'd have a little bit longer to maybe like sneak in a second scenario if we do quite well. how to go about looting this token. Do. I feel like I want to open the door and just do like igneous path, you know? Seems like the kind of legit play here. The only problem is that I know the enemy setup and there isn't really a great way of doing it immediately, but I can force a lot of enemies through stuff, right? I can very quickly clog it up. Very, very quickly. It's either that or I go for like, okay, let's try and just set up wildfire by maybe destroying one of these. That could also just be totally legit here. Set up wildfire. We're good to go. Yeah, let's do that. Just means I don't really have anything to do though on my prism. I also don't really have a great launch pad or launch pod. Maybe it's fine. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. Like, who actually wants the loot? Probably Pyroclast right now. We kind of need a few more items, right? But I can't quite do what I want to do without doing that. All right, well, maybe I just get the loot regardless. It's only me who had to leave it, right? Do. It's just like a bit. It's kind of like have a bit of a do nothing type turn, which I don't really like on the Hive, but. Yeah. Yeah, like managing this is going to be maybe a little bit annoying. Hive has priority for loot. Yeah, I guess we gonna need so much loot. So, okay, so 1, can't move any further, can't slide this way. 2, let's go get the loot. Let's get the loot. Lumber. Okay. Lumber hand slot items. We do kind of need hand slot items. A bow wouldn't be a bad item on this character. Pyroclast. it's just going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. And we will use Wildfire to destroy 1 adjacent hazardous terrain tile if you do on your next 3 attacks. Add wound, poison, and fire. Okay. All right. Well then, everybody, I think I am going to call it there for today before we open the next room. We know what's in the next room. We obviously attempted it, but I don't really have enough time, unfortunately, today to kind of continue on. So what I'll probably do is we'll either pick this up tomorrow. I might have availability tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to check and see. If not tomorrow, then probably Friday. We'll kind of continue on with it, and we'll hopefully complete it. Maybe on Friday, if we get going and we have a fairly quick one, we might be able to jump straight into another scenario. Just maybe do like a really rapid outpost phase, and maybe jump into another one. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. D4 this weekend? Oh yeah, it's D4 as well, isn't it, this weekend? I kind of forgot about that. When's that? Does the servers open on Friday? Phantom? Or are they opening like tomorrow or? I'm not like super keen on playing it this weekend. Friday. I'm not super keen on playing it this weekend because I've done it, but there is I think that there's an opportunity to get a special cosmetic, right? For killing the world boss this weekend. So I may play some Diablo. Maybe we play Diablo on Friday and we just get a world boss kill, and then, yeah, maybe we could do that. I'll figure it out. I would quite like to play some D4 this weekend. Whether or not I play it on stream, I don't know. I would also like to just kind of finish this scenario as well. So, it really depends on what happens tomorrow, because if tomorrow I'm available, then maybe we can do this. If I'm not available tomorrow, then I'll probably play Frosthaven on Friday. Post in Discord if you want to. Yeah, no worries, dude. Well, I say if I'm playing, I'll be playing a little bit. I need to work on some Frosthaven videos this weekend, really. So I also don't really want to. There's Eurovision on Saturday night. I know that maybe you guys don't care about that, but Eurovision is always like a bit of a fun night. I usually, like, one of my friends throws a Eurovision party. We just hang out, you know, watch all of the spectacle of it, have a few beers, like just laugh at the whole thing, you know? It's pretty entertaining. It's kind of become a thing. It never used to be, but in like the last 3 or 4 years, it's kind of become a thing where we do that. Eurovision, yeah. It's the Eurovision Song Contest. I don't know if you guys really know much about it in the US or whatever, but basically, like not all of them, but a lot of countries in Europe, most countries in Europe, they kind of they come up with a song, they have an artist in their country, and they have to get through like an elimination phase, which is all happening this week. And then on Saturday night, which is kind of like the main thing, it's the finals, and it will be, I think there's like 20 acts or something, and they rotate them really quick, and they do a song, and then there's a public vote, and then there's a judges vote, and then, yeah, someone will win Eurovision, some country will win Eurovision Song Contest. But there are lots of rules around it, like you can't be like a recording artist, you can't have entered it, yeah, you can't have done something else. Like there's some rules as to who can enter to obviously keep it kind of fair, so you don't get like the same artists or like really, really famous artists all the time. There's like, I don't know exactly how they do it, but there's some rules to kind of keep it relatively fair. And usually like it's really entertaining to see like other countries, music and styles and stuff like that in Europe. Varies wildly. And also for the anniversary that was, I can't remember what anniversary it was like 50th or something, 50 years, or they allowed Australia to join for some reason. I don't exactly know why. I think Australia really likes it, as a country. They like to watch it. So they were really keen to join. So they let Australia join. And then everyone decided that they really liked Australia being part of it. So Australia are now like permanently allowed to enter every year, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, it's like Europe plus Australia for that reason. It's gonna, but I think it was because Australia did quite well the year that they came in, because everyone was like cheering them on because it was like, yeah, go Australia. Like last year Ukraine won. It can be a very political vote some years, and last year Ukraine won by quite a lot. Like everyone voted and got behind Ukraine, and because of the war ongoing in Ukraine, they couldn't host this year because usually the winners host. So it's unsafe for them to host. So England are hosting because we came second. Well, Great Britain came second, not England. But Great Britain came second, so we're hosting as like a proxy, but they've invited a lot of Ukrainian artists to come and like perform during it. So it's still kind of like their show. We're just hosting it in our country because it was unsafe there. You bet if the US asked to join Eurovision, they would just be like, lol, no. I mean, to be honest, probably. And they might there might be some where they join it, but it would be reasonably like unfair. Because like the US is so big. Because what sometimes happens is there's like talent shows and stuff in different countries. So some countries take it super seriously. Like it is like their platform every year to like showcase their music. And some countries, they will take it super, super seriously, and they'll do like talent shows and loads of stuff to try and like find the next talent to go onto Eurovision to go do it. And there are other countries that have just historically been incredible. Like Sweden, I believe, has won the most Eurovision Song Contests. And ABBA were in Eurovision. So they were in Eurovision and then they went on to be, well, ABBA, to be as successful as they were. But they've had a long running list of winners. A lot of the Nordic countries actually do very well. It's kind of interesting. I think we've only won it once, Great Britain or something. We don't win it very much. I think partially because of the political votes a little bit. Like we're probably like one of the most unliked people in it most of the time. Because of course with Brexit as well, people were like, who are these people? And so even though we stayed in Eurovision, that was very much like a political vote that year. And I think we came bottom for the first time ever. Like, well, we don't usually come like bottom. We're usually like in bottom 5 or something, but we're not usually like the bottom. And we were like, yeah, bottom. We were cast out that year, I think. But last year we came second. And the voting has become a little less political and a little bit more about the music in recent years as like people have kind of come together. Has there been anyone since ABBA who have gone on to major mainstream success? It depends on how you would I guess it depends on how you would gauge mainstream success. Like global success, probably not in quite a while. But there are certain songs that they have done that you could pick out and say, oh yeah, I know that song. Like, oh yeah, it was a Eurovision song. I think the one that comes to mind in recent memories is Netta. I don't know if you've heard of her. She was the Israeli entry, and she kind of has gone on to be moderately successful, I would say. There's a few others that have done fairly well. Like I said, in England, not so much, because like a lot of the music that we listen to in England is, or in Great Britain, sorry, a lot of it is very transferable to America. I feel like in America, you guys have like your country, which we don't really have here. but you still have like the same kind of main pop hits that we have. And then we probably have like, we maybe have a bit of a smattering of like certain UK artists that maybe don't translate so well, but not a huge amount. I'd say that a lot of like the UK, I'd say there's a lot in common with the US. A lot of the same music. But like you go to somewhere like Italy or Spain or places like that, you know, they really like, because obviously they really like native language music. So songs actually in Spanish, Italian, and all that. So those particular people who come through Eurovision are very popular because they usually sing in their native language rather than sing in English. I personally prefer it when they sing in their native language when I watch Eurovision because it's more interesting to me. Because usually like the English is like, it doesn't translate very well. It doesn't kind of feel right. But it like, they do all their like, if you do their like native language, it just tends to work better with the music, I think. First impressions for the new characters? Well, I mean, so first off, Pyroclast is a little bit more tricky than I think it first appears. Mainly because when you're looking at like the Cragheart, right? The Cragheart was like, right, chuck an obstacle, everything near to it does 2 damage. It was a very immediate effect. Do this, they take damage. Whereas so far the Pyroclast seems a little bit more like, okay, you need to put the hazardous terrain tile down. And because you put it like underneath with Firebomb, whatever it is, you put it underneath the enemy, they don't actually take the damage from it immediately, and then they move off and they've kind of gone. Like, so the positioning side of things is a bit different. It's different than the Trapper, it's different than Cragheart, because you're kind of like putting it onto an enemy and then needing to like, either you want to move onto it to get a bonus, or you want to push them back onto it and stuff like that. Like, it's a bit different. So the tempo of it is different. Like Cragheart, you chuck some obstacles down, you immediately get to do some damage, you immediately get a controlling impact on the board, where, okay, enemies aren't going to go there. Same with Trapper, you chuck a trap down, you immediately have some control on the board. But with like stuff like the cards that I've been playing, aside from like one card or a couple of the burns, I'm not getting to like just pick and choose where I want the hazardous terrain to go. It's got to go in very specific places. It goes here or here, it goes here, you know, that's it. The only one was the move one, where potentially we get a little bit more flexibility on it, but still, it still can only go on where we were. You know, it's not like we can suddenly go, yeah, we placed it here and here. Whereas Trapper is like, yeah, just place it in adjacent hexes, there are my traps. Cragheart goes, yeah, I just chuck a rock over there. So it's a little bit trickier than it first appears, because although it has a lot in common with those characters, the way it's placing its tiles and how it has to place its tiles is a bit more restrictive. So that's going to be interesting to play with. And Prism seems pretty good, to be honest. I need like, the thing with Prism is it's a kind of character where, like, I fell into a trap in the first attempt where we got ourselves into a lot of trouble and we were stuck in Jackal, which was not good. Stuck in that Jackal mode was really bad. It's a very easy pitfall and you think, yeah, it's okay, I can maybe ride this out for a couple of turns. But then you get to a certain point where you're losing health so quickly, you can't recover it. And then when I had another summon that I couldn't transfer to because otherwise it would kill me because that had enough damage on it, then suddenly you realize, oh crap, I'm in trouble here. So I feel like Hive feels like the kind of character that when you get good at, you can absolutely exploit in a very powerful way, but it's on a knife edge. This character is on such a knife edge that if you make a mistake or you miscalculate something or you just don't really account for something, it's gonna come back and bite you real hard. So it's, yeah, I think it's that room went much smoother, but I played safer in that room. And also obviously this challenge is giving us a really good, potentially some really good combos. So very happy about that. But it does feel like, okay, we need to be little bit more careful here, right? Little bit more careful. You think Prism is in your top 3? It could be for me, depending on how it continues to go. It's too early for me at the moment to make any kind of, you know. Like, I can see what the character's doing, and it's pretty fun. But I think ultimately I want to, you know, try and have a really good scenario. Like, there was one, like, I was kind of struggling with the Deep Wraith. And then there was one scenario, I think, where I kind of put it all together for the first time and it all worked really well. And I was like, okay, I get it now. And then from that scenario onwards, I just, you know, you feel more confident and you kind of know what you're doing and you've managed to, you can play quicker. You kind of understand what's going on. So until I get to like that kind of point, then I'll be like, okay, now I can like say, yeah, I like this. I really like this character. I mean, initial thoughts are, yeah, it's fun. It's good. It's fun. But will I be able to get everything out of it? Or am I going to start, you know, hitting brick walls? Because again, Frosthaven scenarios are complicated, I think is the best word. I don't think I've played a single Frosthaven scenario that hasn't had some kind of wrinkle in it, some kind of extra condition that will force you to have to play in a different way, that will stop you sometimes from being able to play in your optimal way of playing, which, you know, I think some people aren't going to like. I think that is a reasonable complaint. Prism Masteries is not that bad. I had the sheets out a second ago. Oh, we can look at it on here, can't we? Yeah. So just transfer each round, transfer into 4 different summons in 1 round. Well, that seems pretty doable. Transfer into 4 different summons in 1 round. How would you do that? Would you need like a perk for that? Like, for example, if we were to short rest, that's 1 with that perk. And then you would need three different actions with transfers on them. So you need, yeah, that's pretty hard. I mean, I guess you've got a couple that allow you to do. Yeah, you've got cards that can do it. Oh no, you haven't. 1, 2. That's only 3. You're missing 1. You need a card that's got like a transfer. At the moment, all of our abilities have only got 1 transfer, so we would need to find a card that has transfer on it. I don't know if there was one we're not taking that has that. No. I don't think we have the right cards, right? There's a perk plus 1 transfer. Oh, I see. So you would need to draw that too. I mean, that's kind of... I don't know. That's kind of tricky, huh? I wouldn't call that easy. I would call that lucky. You know? Plus, not to mention, you'd have to have 4 summons out on the board as well. And you have to win the scenario, right? For a mastery to count. So, I feel like you would need a very specific scenario and a good draw. There's a lot going on. I guess if you have 4 summons, they're all going to do an attack, hopefully, if they're that kind of summon. I think pretty much all of the summons do an attack, right? So that's 4 modifiers that you can draw. Then I guess you would, you know, potentially draw at least 1, maybe 2 yourself, plus a transfer. So 5, 6. So maybe you've got like 6 opportunities to draw that card. How many battle goals expired? None so far. I'm not quite sure why it says I've got so many there, because that is incorrect. Don't ask me why it's done that. I didn't do that. I must have accidentally pressed this or something. It is definitely a big fat 0. Cool. Well then, I think we'll we'll call it a day. Great. Yeah. So I mean, this scenario is pretty fun though. I just need to like get through. It'll be interesting to know like what the final room's like, because room 1 and room 2 are pretty similar in terms of how to play them, and then room 3 is gonna have that ice wraith in, so we'll see. But yeah, fun. Okay, so
I think still, yeah.
Oh,
Scout
that's the blessing from Cap.
Yeah.
That's the blessing from.
Isaac, at this point, can we get your approval to add an additional attack modifier deck for allies in the digital version?